quality drink mix at an affordable price. Rasna Drink Mix. With over 5 delicious flavors to choose from, a 25-gram pack makes up to 1 liter of drink. There is no need to add sugar. Unlike other drink mixes, Rasna is made with all natural flavors and is low in sugar. It also contains 5 essential daily vitamins and minerals. Rasna Drink Mix is available nationwide. For more information, call us on 233-2473. Rasna, endorsed by celebrities.
Kaieteur Radio, keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Burby's 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Hello and welcome to your news at noon. It comes to you with the compliments of Rasna Drink Mix. I am Kevin Smith. Before we get to the top stories we are tracking, let's get to the front page comment of today's Kaieteur News. Opposition oil games. The opposition leader, speaking on behalf of his group, has little of significance to offer on this nation's oil. He is a study in artful dodging. The opposition, through its leader, has absolutely nothing to offer its constituency and wider Guyana regarding the disposition of the Kanji and Kaieteur oil blocks. He is about foot-dragging, paralysis, information ignorance, and tactical nonsense on oil in his weekly press conferences. On this most important prosperity issue, and criminal conduct one, too, in this country, the opposition and its leader pretend to be lost at sea without paddle or compass. They know nothing, see nothing, hear nothing, and think of nothing on oil, particularly the Kanji and Kaieteur blocks. The opposition is deceptive on our oil. The opposition plays games with our oil. The opposition is closing ranks and joining forces with the crafty PPP to choke and rob Guyanese of our wealth. Why is the coalition doing so and making a complete fool of the entire group and this nation? What has it been offered for its gamesmanship and silence? What grand bargain is the opposition a part of in an unholy alliance with PPP leaders to sell out the poor people of this country for lifetimes to come? How many pieces of silver were paid to or demanded by the opposition for its conspiracy of silence and betrayal of Black, Indian, Indigenous, and mixed Guyanese? Something is not right about the opposition and its lengthy wait for information. Something is terribly wrong about the opposition dancing and clowning, bobbing and weaving, ducking and making a total of itself with our oil. Somebody sold out Guyanese. It is not us. We suggest checking with Freedom House and Congress Place for answers. Just do not expect the truth. And now for the top stories we are tracking. Kanji Block owner incorporated in a secrecy jurisdiction. In the Senegal gas blocks giveaway, shell companies registered in tax havens only serve to hide identity of true owners. Expert says this red flag should always warrant probe. Company founded by Mr. Dharam Lal's son received $485,000 in contracts in 1 month and more electoral fraud charges for Lowenfield. Meanwhile, Valda Lawrence, a no-show at CID, attorney says she will do so today. Stay tuned to stay informed.
You don't have to be a fountain of knowledge to help children with their schoolwork while they're at home. But you do have to be caring, understanding, loving, and patient. It's an unsettling time for everyone, but children still need a safe and secure environment. So don't overwhelm them with endless news items or problems. Keep them gainfully occupied and amused, exercised and rested. Protect our children. A message from the Child Care and Protection Agency, Ministry of Human Services and Social Security, and UNICEF.
And now for the news in detail, with the compliments of Rasana Drink Mix. JHI Associates, one of the owners of the Kanji block, has so far avoided the supplication of vital details about the company, especially its beneficial owners. The beneficial owners are the people who ultimately control an asset and benefit from its use. JHI has a 17.5% stake in the block, said to hold 5.1 billion oil equivalent barrels. The company just about sprung up for the purpose of owning the Kanji block. Its website, a vague collection of pages on the internet, provides very little information about itself, save and except for its ownership of the block. One of the reasons JHI has managed to stay so under the radar is due to its incorporation in the British Virgin Islands, which is a secrecy jurisdiction and tax haven. This is a major red flag for governments that prioritize transparency and mitigation of corruption risks. More to come tomorrow. When oil companies are created in a matter of days or weeks and are registered in territories that keep the identity of the real owners, the beneficial owners, a secret, it creates the perfect condition for corruption and tax evasion to flourish. It ultimately robs the citizens who are the rightful owners of a nation's wealth, billions of dollars. Taking this salient fact into consideration, expert on oil sector corruption Alexandra Gillies posited that companies registered in tax havens should always send alarm bells ringing for authorities as their pursuit of a nation's natural resources leaves the citizenry in particular at great risk. Gillies said that a glaring example of this is the case of Senegal, where Frank Timis, a Romanian-Australian businessman with a corrupt past, created two shell companies, had them registered in two of the world's most top nations for providing financial privacy to corporations, then acquired two prime gas blocks offshore the African country. And moving on, documents shared with us show that Designs Unlimited, a company founded by the son of the Minister of Local Government and Regional Development, Nigel Dharamlal, had received a total of $485,000 worth in contracts over a period of 1 month. Designs Unlimited, a local printery and embroidery company, had submitted 3 separate invoices to the local government ministry. We had reported on Sunday that Minister Dharamlal had allegedly instructed his staff to hire this same company that was founded by his son. This was after opposition MP Ganesh Mahipal had released documents highlighting the damning revelations. Meanwhile, Minister Dharamlal has since refuted all of the claims made against him by Mahipal. In other news, GCOM CEO Keith Lowenfield was yesterday slapped with 6 additional electoral fraud charges in relation to the investigation into the last elections. Lowenfield yesterday reported that the CID headquarters that should be at 12 hours with one of his attorneys, Nigel Hughes, when the new charges were put to him, and was arrested and escorted to the Georgetown Magistrates Courts. 6 charges were read to Lowenfield, 3 counts of misconduct in public office and 3 counts of forgery. The prosecutor made objections to bail to being granted to the defendant. However, the magistrate granted bail in sum of $50,000 on each charge, a total of $300,000, and the matter was adjourned to October 23, 2020. PNCR chairperson and former health minister Valda Lawrence yesterday failed to present herself at the Criminal Investigation Department headquarters in Georgetown as agreed on by the Guyana Police Force and her attorney Nigel Hughes. Lawrence was scheduled to report at CID at 10 hours yesterday in relation to the investigation into electoral fraud committed during the March 2020 elections. However, yesterday, when Lawrence failed to report to CID, her attorney Nigel Hughes informed the police investigators that his client will report to CID today at 10 hours. Lawrence is currently before Principal Magistrate Faith McGusty in the Georgetown Magistrates Courts for a joint charge with Returning Officer of Region 4 Claremont Mingo, which alleged conspiracy to commit fraud. You are tuned into Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM, and this is your news at noon. Coming up after the break, a man charged for murder of Venezuelan cook and Bartica woman. Biker dies in Diamond Public Road accident. Fifth developer returns prime mogul lands received from coalition government. And soldier who assaulted cop charged with multiple traffic offences. Essequibo man hospitalized after being struck by hearse. Do stay tuned.
A lot has happened since oil was discovered in 2015. The petroleum industry is an ever-changing web of oil, gas, politics, and money. It gets complicated sometimes, but we can bring you all the latest developments and include you in the discussions here on Kaieteur Radio. So tune in to 99.1 or 99.5 FM every Tuesday night at 20:30 hours for Petroleum 101. With me, your host, Kamal King. Kaieteur Radio, the radio with a difference.
Welcome back. Let us continue with the news. The man who confessed to the murders of a female Venezuelan cook and a Bartica woman was yesterday charged and remanded to prison. 27-year-old Joshua Connell of South Lust, East Coast Demerara, appeared at the Bartica Magistrate Court, where he was charged with 2 counts of murder, contrary to common law, by Magistrate Crystal Lambert. In other news, a motorcyclist died on Sunday, hours after he lost control of his Suzuki CBR motorcycle and crashed onto the Diamond East Bank Demerara Public Road in the vicinity of DDL. According to a police report, 40-year-old Marlon Fidku of Delft Street, Campbellville, Georgetown, crashed around 17 hours 45. He was reportedly heading to Georgetown with a crew of other bikers. The bike toppled and skidded, eyewitnesses said, before coming to a halt while he was thrown off, his body crashing into the concrete pavement located to the side of the road. At the Georgetown Public Hospital, he was admitted, and it was discovered that he had suffered a broken rib, which punctured his lung. Fidku succumbed while being treated. In other news, Super Graphics is now the 5th developer to return prime Ogle lands, which were controversially vested to them by the previous APNU AFC regime. In a release, the company owned by one Ethan Cordis said that they had entered an agreement of sales with Nissil on June 15th for the purposes of constructing 95 premium housing units or apartments. The company was vested 5 acres for the project. And moving on, this soldier who was caught on camera last Friday beating a police constable, identified only as Wilson, was yesterday slapped with multiple traffic offense charges. Appearing at the Wales Magistrates Court was Lance Corporal of GDF Kester Bowen. The traffic charges were read to him by Principal Magistrate Faith McGusty. Represented by his attorney Glenn Hanuman, Bowen pleaded guilty to the offences, which stated that on October 9, 2020, he was driving an uninsured and uncertified motor vehicle. The GDF rank also committed the offence of driving a vehicle with prohibited tinted glass. He was fined $25,000, $10,000 and $7,500 respectively for the 3 offences. Bowen, however, still remains in custody awaiting advice on other charges, which he is expected to receive. And now let's tell you that a man is in critical condition at the Saudi Public Hospital after being struck by a hearse on the Essequibo Public Road yesterday afternoon. The victim has been identified as Tulsi Maniram, a resident of Devonshire Castle, Essequibo Coast. Based on reports, the accident occurred sometime around 17 hours 30 yesterday afternoon. Reports are that at the time of the accident, Maniram was pushing his motorcycle in the southern direction of Devonshire Castle. Eyewitnesses claim that the man was gathering his cattle. The hearse was also proceeding south along the said road. The driver reportedly swerved from one of the cows and plowed into Maniram, pinning him in a nearby trench. His condition is listed as serious. It is now 12 hours 15. Coming up next, your COVID-19 update. The number of worldwide coronavirus cases, according to Worldometer, has reached 38,106,993, with 1,087,075 deaths. Recovery cases has reached 28,689,736. Locally, the Ministry of Health yesterday announced that 2 more persons have died from COVID-19 and that there are 52 new cases, taking the total number of confirmed cases to 3,521. The latest fatalities, stated an update from the ministry last evening, are a 62-year-old male and a 47-year-old female, both from Region 4. There are currently 16 persons in the ICU at the Georgetown Public Hospital, 118 persons in institutional isolation, and 892 persons in approved home isolation, and 58 persons in institutional quarantine. It was not clear whether 2 persons who died were from the 16 housed in the ICU. The COVID-19 death toll currently stands at 106. And coming from CNN, with 33 U.S. states reporting a rise in new COVID-19 cases, local officials worry that this could be the beginning of the coming surge experts have warned about. President Trump tested negative for coronavirus on consecutive days and is not infectious to others, the White House physician said. And Johnson & Johnson is pausing the advanced clinical trial of its experimental coronavirus vaccine because of an unexplained illness in one of the volunteers. And the UK government has been accused of ignoring advice from its own scientists to consider a short lockdown 3 weeks ago. And that brings us to the end of today's News at Noon. Remember, the news came to you with the kind compliments of Rasna Drink Mix. I am Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's Newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today